United States Senator Marsha Blackburn of the state of Tennessee. Good morning, Senator. Donald Trump romped in your state last night, rolling up a margin of 77.3%. It's probably the kind of margin you enjoy when you're on a primary ballot. What'd you make of that?
I think it is very clear that not only Tennesseans, but the American people and Republicans in the Republican primary are standing with Donald Trump. They are furious about the open border. They are very upset about Bidenflation. They remember that under President Trump, they had more money left at the end of the month than they had months left at the end of the money, and they want to return to those Trump economic policies. They are tired of crime in their communities. You know, in Tennessee, we have communities that have gangs that have never had a gang in their community. And they know that President Donald Trump kept his word to work with the Border Patrol, give them what they needed, and secure that border. And so they showed up in record numbers in Tennessee to support him.
Now, the number one issue in the country is immigration, and that is followed closely by economics. I believe crime is in there, and you've touched on all three. I also think Israel's on there, and I perceive in the president's waffling the possible loss of the pro-Israel, Friends of Israel coalition in the United States. I feel it every day in my bones that he's losing that. What do you think, Senator?
It has been surprising to many of us that this pro-Palestine group, pro-Hamas, is continuing to push their message forward, and they're doing it without the White House refuting them in the manner that they should. So many people are saying, we know that under Donald Trump, our allies knew they were an ally, our enemies feared us. They want that distinction. They know that it's good for the country. They know that it is good on the global stage, and they want to see that come back.
Now, Senator, you are also a veteran of the House, and you know Adam Schiff pretty well. Adam Schiff came in first or second. We don't know. We won't know for 3 days. But the other guy on that ballot is going to be Steve Garvey, because Adam Schiff basically paid for his way onto the ballot and knocked off Katie Porter, with whom he didn't serve in the House. I am curious, do you think Adam Schiff's duplicity makes him vulnerable even in deep blue California?
I do. I think that people in California have looked at this and kind of chuckled, because they know that Adam Schiff is someone who sought to be a screenwriter. That was his chosen profession, and he couldn't make it. So he's always looking to create some kind of mystery and plot, and he did it with the impeachment of President Trump. And as he came up and listened to and pushed forward Russia collusion, and I think that he is vulnerable. And Steve Garvey is someone that Californians know. They know his name. They know he is not an extremist. They know that he is someone who is credible. They've listened to him for a long time. They know him. And I think Steve Garvey is going to do much better than the pundits have given him credit for trying to do.
Boy, Democrats are mad this morning, Senator. I'm out on the West Coast for another week before I go back to the Beltway. They are so mad because he helps our friend Ken Calvert. He helps our friend Mike Garcia. Steve Garvey does. He helps Sungmin Kim. He helps Michelle Steele. He helps every incumbent Republican by having Steve Garvey in the Senate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit, if you will, about what you hope Nikki Haley says today when she withdraws from the race at 10 a.m.
I hope that Nikki Haley is going to be gracious. I hope she is going to encourage unity in the Republican Party. I think she will most likely lay out what she sees as her successes. But, you know, Hugh, the biggest success that she could have would be to be gracious in this moment and to encourage unity and encourage President Trump as he becomes the Republican nominee. It is time for us to unite this party. It is time for us to build a vision for the American people and to stop this in-party fussing. It is time for the members of the U.S. House to come together and say, we want the most conservative bill we can get out of here. It is time, for the U.S. Senate to say, we are going to focus on taking the U.S. Senate. That's what Republicans should turn our attention to. We're going to focus on making certain that Donald Trump becomes president, and we are going to focus on building a vision for the American people so that they see the difference between Republicans and Democrats and choose our way of governing and leading this country.
Now, Senator Blackburn, you've been a campaigner long enough to know that the older vote in America matters quite a lot. So you have to talk about it in a sensitive fashion. Neither of my parents nor my wife's parents made it past 80. So I don't really know what it's like to care for an elderly parent. And unfortunately, President Biden is aging rapidly in real time in public view, and it's hard on his family, it's hard on the country. Do you think he's aware of that?
I have decided that he is not. I think his life is very programmed, and he is very comfortable with that. Now, I think the First Lady and the children have to be aware of this and of the amount of assistance and help that he needs in a restricted and programmed day. I don't see how they could not be aware of that. My parents were into their late 80s and 90s, and I have helped to care for them, my husband's parents likewise. And, Hugh, you spot these signs of aging. You know it when you see it. Millions of Americans have been caregivers for elderly relatives and parents and siblings, and they know what is happening. They can see it, and they are making these appointments for physicians, for tending to medications, getting the proper care and living conditions for an individual. And I think the American people are looking at this, and they see a president who has contradicted positions that he has held most of his life. He has contradicted positions that he currently has held or that his administration has laid out as being a position of the administration. They see someone who has difficulty kind of getting through much of a speech or a press conference or giving remarks off the cuff. They witness every bit of this. And they, on one hand, they feel sorrow for him that he is doing this on a global stage, and on another, they really regret that this is happening for our nation and that the entire world is observing this, and therefore doubting our ability to move forward as the nation that's always going to show up and help to defend you when your country gets in trouble. And by the way, we help you out and then we leave, and we don't take your treasure, we don't take your land, we don't change the life of your people except for the better.